If you find a person who is a liar, certified liar, testified by the community that he's a liar, dishonest,
I never argued.
would you? No, listen to my argument. My argument is the standard of evidence I'm laying to you. So now, would you accept that testimony from that individual? Would you?
Well, just because they lie doesn't mean.
Would you accept?
I'm just telling you. Just because maybe you lied on one thing doesn't mean I'm going to say that you lied on all things.
So you would accept his testimony even though he was a certified liar?
Earliest attestation of John. Let's say, hold on. If you're doubting the early attestation of John, what's your earliest attestation of Bukhari? Because Bukhari is nowhere in the same range as our earliest attestation.
Did you ask me how I attest what Bukhari said?
How? Go and tell me how.
You don't know.
So when's your earliest? Let me ask you a question.
Do you know?
When's your earliest?
Do you know?
Full manuscript of Bukhari.
Wait a second.
When is it?
Before I answer, do you know how I attest Bukhari?
Well, I'm asking you when's your first.
I'm asking you this question.
No,
do you know how I attest Bukhari?
I'm asking this question.
Either you know, you don't know.
No, I'm asking
Which
this question.
one is it?
Let me ask you this question. When's your first attestation?
Look.
Full manuscript of Sahih Bukhari.
I'm telling you
Answer
this.
the brother.
Hang on, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Do you know how I attest Bukhari?
You can tell me
Do I rely on manuscripts?
First, answer the question.
Do I rely on manuscripts alone?
Listen, answer the question.
I'm telling you.
And then you can tell me.
I'm just telling you. I don't rely on manuscripts alone.
Okay, so when's your first Bukhari?
I'm just telling you.
But
I don't rely on manuscripts alone.
It's a documentation of narrations that's in the book.
Yeah.
So it's not just one thing. It's many.
I don't rely on manuscripts alone.
It was written.
So I'm saying this Bukhari wrote about 200 years.
I can find
Listen, hold on.
the source that he's written from.
So he wrote about 200 years after the life of Muhammad.
No, he didn't.
Okay, when did he write then? When did Bukhari write?
Look, Bukhari is a collection that he wrote. Wait, listen. What he wrote, I mean, of course, this is not contemporary to the Prophet ﷺ. He got information. We know how he got his information. We can trace this information lineage by transmission of that information. We have a chain of narration going back to the event. The narrator who's narrating it, an eyewitness event. Do you have that? If you don't have the manuscript,
You're missing the point.
no, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me clarify my point. No, let me clarify my point first. We want to know, the discussion we're having is, you believe that you have evidence for Christ's crucifixion, now he's dead. I said, okay, what is the evidence? So far, you've given me belief of scholars, which is not an evidence.
No, I didn't.
You said the scholars believe. You told me the followers believe. That's not an evidence, because this is a belief of the followers. Wait, listen. This is an evidence of that the people believe that he was crucified, but it is not a belief that crucifixion happened. It's establishing historically there are people who believe that he died, but it doesn't mean actually he died.
Is,
just like wait.
As people,
excuse me. Can I finish my point? Right. Then you bring the evidence. A question about this. I asked you about. You said John was an eyewitness. So we went into another, an avenue of attestation of evidence. And that evidence is testimonial evidence, testimony of John. So I wanted to ask you, I asked you clearly, to accept a witness to provide evidence, there's at least two conditions that we met. I didn't give many, I should have given many, I only give you two. One of them is the character integrity of the witness, and the other one is contemporaneity of the event that they witnessed. So the testimony the witness provide must be an eyewitness direct testimony, not a third-hand witness evidence, because it's not a evidence. Let me finish. Okay. Do you have that? The answer is no, because all you provide is John Ryland's manuscripts, P52, doesn't talk about the crucifixion of Christ. The crucifixion part, even if it talks about it, is much, much later. So you don't have a contemporary material evidence which talks about the crucifixion, which you believe is written by John. Not only that, he's what?
He's a historian. He's a Jewish historian, Flavius Josephus, who wrote a history of Judaism in 93.
And what do we know about Joseph Flavius in terms of when he's writing about this text? Is he embellishing it?
Well, he's saying that Jesus actually died.
No. Did he embellish what he wrote?
No. He did.
Obviously, you haven't read about the scholarship issue on. I'm not appealing to scholarship, but the actual. No. Hear me out. If you read about the account of Josephus, you would know Josephus has embellished the account.
Okay, so what's the evidence?
The evidence is on the very
Okay,
text itself.
tell me the evidence.
No,
repeat the evidence.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm going to spoon feed you all the evidence. I would want you to go and learn about this evidence. So far, I've been keeping spoon feeding you all the time. I'm sorry, I'm getting bored of spoon feeding. So the point I'm making, William,
made the basis.
let me come back to this
Don't quote
point.
scholars.
So
bring
now,
their evidence.
I'm just telling
What's
you.
your evidence about Josephus?
I'm just telling you,
go on.
this is a common knowledge about the writings of Josephus on this issue, right? So I don't need to quote a single scholar. If you didn't know about it, you can go and learn about it, right? I'm not going to spoon feed you as I said.
Give me your evidence.
Right. So as I said, this is something that you can establish yourself by a little bit of reading. The point I'm making here is the witness that you bring. If you don't have a contemporaneous evidence in terms of a written manuscript, at least provide. Let me finish. Let me finish, please. Let me finish, William.
You're deviating.
No, let me finish. Remember what I asked for. A witness has to be someone who provides contemporary testimony.
Well, but he just brought Josephus, and you've just rejected it. And I'm saying, give me your evidence why you.
Was Joseph as an eyewitness?
No, he wasn't. But his father.
Khalas, dismissed.
No, not at all. Do you know who his father was?
Listen.
You know
Am I
who was-
asking for an eyewitness
who was
testimony? What
who
am I
was
asking for?
Josephus' father?
I have no idea.
He was a priest.
And?
So what does that? If he was a priest, where does that put him at the time when Jesus was crucified?
So if your dad tells you everything is
I'm
true.
just saying that it corroborates what
So basically, if we have a father telling his son, the father.
his
any-
father
let
would
me
have been
finish.
there when
Let
Jesus was
me
crucified.
finish.
So when Josephus is making a
William,
Go on.
if you have a father narrating to his son,
Yeah.
you're saying everything the father narrates, you take it as a gospel truth.
I'm saying it's evidence. I'm
In
saying
any culture,
No, I'm saying it's
in
evidence.
any situation.
It's evidence. Listen.
No, it's not an evidence. I'm telling you why.
evidence.
The evidence would be understanding the character of the father. Is the father a possessor of character integrity? Was he honest? Was he truthful? Did he have a good memory? So let's go back again. Do you have the John that you're bringing as an evidence, as a testimonial evidence, as a witness? Do you find, instead of having the lack of any manuscript evidence, okay, let's put it aside because you haven't got anything. Do you have a continuous chain of transmission from people narrating from person to person who are honest and sincere, good memory, no reason to doubt their testimony? Do you have that?
We don't need a chain.
No, I'm asking you. If
need
you
a temporal
if you
link.
if you don't have that link, then you have no evidence.
We don't need a chain because we've got the writings of Peter.
What's the evidence?
Let me finish.
Yeah.
Was Peter an eyewitness?
Of course, Peter was an eyewitness. Yeah, he went to the tomb. He was.
And he saw Christ died.
No, he didn't see Christ die.
Then he wasn't an eyewitness.
No, but John saw.
Dismissed.
Okay, so John saw
Try
him
again.
die. John saw him die.
John.
Yes.
That's what we were analyzed so far.
Yeah.
John, even if he was an eyewitness, who testified? Who testified that John was a truthful person?
Another historian.
Brother, listen. you know
Excuse
what,
me.
This is what I'm saying to you.
Can you now
This is what I'm-
establish
this is what I'm
the
trying to
character
say.
integrity
No,
of John?
The reason why I say this is a waste of time. I'm talking.
Waste of time.
Let me explain.
So in a court of law,
No,
you
no,
bring
no,
a
no,
witness
no,
and
no.
you can't provide whether this
No, no, no,
guy
no,
is
no,
an
no, no, no.
honest person
No, no,
or
no.
not, and you can accept his
This is the
testimony.
que- This is the question I asked him.
So many.
I need to know his epistemology.
I just told you my epistemology.
Let me finish.
I am happy with
Let me finish.
accepting evidence in any court of law.
Fair
No,
question.
no.
Where's
no,
the
no,
temporal
let
link?
me finish. So I asked him,
No, but because.
what historical event in antiquity does he accept to be an historical?
I just told you.
So tell me one.
Any court of law, when
Tell
they,
me one.
I am look, I am being so flexible and so lowering my standard.
you've
I am
given me one example.
saying, in any court of law, what a sane, reasonable judge would accept as evidence, I would accept
I'm
that.
talking about you.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so in
So,
antiquity.
so tell me
Let me
now,
ask you this.
what evidence can you take to any court of law in which a reasonable, sane
Listen,
judge will
Mansur,
accept as evidence?
Mansur, I'm talking to you.
I just told you.
No. You're trying to
gave the
deviate.
So basically,
No,
basically,
he's not giving the standard.
you failed again and again
He's
to
doing-
provide a single piece of evidence that Christ was dead. And that is the core of your belief.
Listen.
Can you believe that? A core of your belief is Christ crucified, and you can't provide a single evidence.
Plenty, but listen,
There's a broken chain there.
there's not a broken chain.
Such a core belief, and you can't substantiate with a single evidence.
No.
How pathetic is that?
Mansur.
How pathetic is that?
Let me ask you. No. Let me ask you one question. In ancient antiquity, what do you accept to be an historical fact?
I just told you.
You didn't.
What did I say?
Give me one. Just give me one historical
no, I-
fact.
I just told you.
No, you haven't. Tell me then. I didn't hear it.
You didn't read what? Any court of law,
No.
a reasonable sane judge will accept as evidence. I will accept as
Is he answering my
evidence.
question?
I just told you.
Is he answering my question?
What was the question again?
Tell me one historical fact that he's accepted in ancient antiquity.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he existed.
No.
We have
No.
documentary.
No.
I'm telling you now.
Antiquity.
Oh,
Are you
so
saying
1400 years is not antiquity?
No, it's not. You know that's
It's-
not considered antiquity.
Oh,
it's not.
So hang on.
Ancient antiquity.
Hang on. So if I find the very embalmed corpse of an individual inscribed all over him, Tutankhamun or whatever, right? These people who are dead and they were what they call mummified. I would accept that as a material evidence that this guy existed.
Yeah, that's
and this guy is known to be this.
Yeah, that's true.
Material evidence. This could be accepted in any court of law. So I ask you again now.
No, you're not.
Having understood my epistemology,
No, you didn't answer my question.
provide me
No,
with
you're
a single
being
piece of
dishonest.
evidence that Christ was
You
crucified.
did not answer my question, and you know you didn't.
What did I just tell you?
You didn't answer my
I accept Tutankhamun. He existed.
No, I'm talking about.
And I have material evidence.
talking about ancient antiquity.
Oh, it's not ancient antiquity.
Greco-
Oh, the pharaohs and the mummies are not ancient antiquity.
In Greco-Roman culture.
No.
Tell me one.
So you want to now pin me towards
Yes.
and direct me to Greco-Roman
Yes,
culture
yes.
and say,
Yes.
and this is what happened?
Yes. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, then there's no point in me having this.
There's no point in talking to you because you're not being fair.
No, you're not being
Because
fair.
you are the one who made a claim Christ crucified,
I can
right?
give you many evidence, but every single evidence you're going to be saying, well,
What evidence did you share?
The Shroud of Turin.
Shroud of Turin provides what? Evidence that he died?
Well, evidence that, yeah, he was crucified, yeah, definitely died, yeah.
The Shroud of Turin, seriously,
Now, have you looked into the evidence of Shroud of Turin? Have you?
have you?
Have you?
Yes, a little bit. Have you?
Okay, yes, I have, yeah.
Okay,
I think
what
it's
is
quite compelling, yeah.
Okay, what is the evidence from the Shroud of Turin?
I believe that, I know obviously the objections.
I'm not asking about objection. What is the evidence? That it's indeed evidence that Christ was crucified.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Christ,
That
not
it was-
someone
it was-
else.
It was the burial cloth of Christ, yes.
And what was it found? Was it found in his tomb?
No, it wasn't found in this time.
So why do you consider it was his body that was rocked up?
Because if you talk
Because?
about chain of transmission, the Catholic Church. have a
I'm not
chain-
interested in Catholic Church.
You're talking about change of transmission.
Hang on.
transmission.
Catholic Church.
You are being inconsistent. That 1 minute you want change of transmission,
Oh.
I'll give you the Catholic.
Okay,
Church,
name them.
Change of transmission.
Name the people and the name.
I
and
can get it for you. I can get it for you.
So basically now you have a chain of individuals within the Catholic
made the
Church.
claim that this was Jesus'
Yeah,
burial cloth.
all the way back to
Yes.
when?
Back to Peter.
All the way they link it
Yes.
back to Peter.
All the way, yes, they do.
So you have Peter who informed his students and so on, yeah?
Peter,
and
Linus, Cletus, Clement of Rome.
and every single individual was testified to be honest.
And they're saying they've got a chain of narration. That's all I'm saying.
But my criteria is not just chain of narration.
Okay, then what can
My criteria are any witness that you bring.
Brother, I'm giving you a cumulative.
You're
evidence.
not listening, are you? The standard of evidence I demand is this.
Exactly so.
Character,
So I know
integrity.
This guy's epistemology. I'm
Listen,
wasting my time.
I've just told you my epistemology. Character,
You haven't,
integrity.
you haven't.
Character,
Yeah,
integrity. How many times have I made this point? Any person that you bring within the chain of narrations, you have to establish character,
It's
integrity.
being inconsistent because even if I apply the same basis, as to
So
why
you are going to bring,
why you
William,
gave Muhammad.
you are going to bring
You're-
a chain of transmission of the Shroud of Turin that every single individual has been testified of their character and integrity.
I
Yeah?
never said that, did I?
But that was my
So
standard.
Can
No,
you
no,
take
no,
the chain of narration from anyone? Can you take the narration from anyone?
Can I
No,
take-
man.
I'm just talking. The Catholic Church have their own tradition. Eastern Orthodox have their tradition, and they all have chains of narrations that go back to the early apostles.
And they have
All of them.
character,
Even the
integrity
Cop-
testified.
Even the Coptic Church. So
William,
So what I'm
every
saying-
single individual
but
in the chain of
Christians-
transmission,
Christians don't
how
use this as our
were
basis of
their
evidence
character?
to say that the Coptic Church,
William,
Eastern Orthodox, the
William,
Catholics have
okay,
a chain
you
of
know what?
transmission,
Just
thereby.
to summarize, right?
Do you get my point? But
If within the chain of transmitter,
anyway, next week, what do you want me to bring? To
William,
you?
listen.
No, because I'm getting tired, and
no,
we're not getting anywhere.
you're making yourself tired for a reason. I'll tell you why. Within the chain of the narration of the Shroud of Turin, if you find within this chain one individual was known and certified to be a liar, would you accept that transmission of information?
Brother, Listen,
Would you?
Can I say one thing?
Answer that question.
I personally.
Would you accept it?
Let me explain.
Explain by answer that
Why
question.
you're not answering? Why
Would
you're
you
not answering?
accept
Listen
a
to-
liar
listen to-
within the chain of transmission?
Listen to my point.
Would you?
I personally, you would never hear me argue to affirm any Christian doctrine or any Christian belief based on the Eastern, Catholic, Coptic.
Because you
chain of
can't.
transmission. No, I don't. I wouldn't.
Because you can't. No, you
They
wouldn't.
do have
You
it.
can't.
They have it. It's there.
You can't.
Okay.
So far,
You know
so
what, I
far.
can. Okay.
So,
Do you want me to bring it to you next week?
so what
I'll bring
what
it
I'm
to you
asking
next
you
week.
right now.
Don't say I can't.
Look,
because
what I
can.
said right now is this: if you find within the chain of the transmission within the Catholic Church about the Shroud of Turin, there was an individual. Suppose you established that there was an individual known to be a liar. Would you accept this testimony?
No, the point I'm trying to make is. No,
Is that a no as in I would not?
You're not listening to my
Hang
point.
on. Is that a no as in I would not accept the testimony?
Listen, you're not listening to my
No.
point.
Can you answer the question? If you find person who is a liar, certified liar, testified by the community that he's a liar, dishonest,
I never argued.
would you?
Listen, I
No,
never
listen
argued.
to my argument.
Brother, I'm getting-
My argument is the standard of evidence I'm laying to you.
very
So now, would you accept that testimony from that individual? Would you?
Well, just because they lie doesn't mean. they
Would
lie on
you
all things.
accept?
I'm just telling you. Just because maybe you lied on one thing doesn't mean I'm going to say that you lied on all things. So, yeah.
So you would accept his testimony even though he was a certified liar?
If he was what, sorry?
A certified liar.
If he was a compulsive liar, then obviously.
Certified liar.
No, it's the same thing, isn't it?
It depends. No, not necessarily.
No. A compulsive
some-
liar. There's a difference
I know
between
people who lie.
certified liar.
I know people
the
who lie.
community
But
have
if they come to me with
agreed
testimony,
together
I
that this
believe them.
individual is a liar.
You know people
They
who lie.
certified it.
I'm sure you've lied before. I'm sure you know.
No,
that
no,
he's lied.
I'm
certified
talking
liar.
certified liar.
Certified liar.
Well, if somebody's a compulsive liar, no, then I don't
No.
accept it.
Certified liar.
Well, certified, you mean compulsive liar?
No, I don't mean compulsive liar.
Somebody who's lied once, is that what you
No,
What do you
I
mean by
mean the
certified?
community testified that this guy is a liar.
Well, then that will speak volumes, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Would you accept his testimony? Right. So it's important then, in any chain that you bring, you have to establish the character integrity. That's the point I was
This,
making.
this is the problem. This is
So
the,
now,
No,
do
no,
you
no.
have a chain in which every single member
This is the problem.
Can
No,
I
no,
finish
no,
my
no,
point?
no, no, let me make
Can
my
I finish
point.
my point,
No,
William?
because it's
If
irrelevant.
remember what you said, the Shroud of Turin, we have the Catholic Church with the continuous chain of narrations. Let me finish. All the way back to Peter, who witnessed it. So now the two standards that have
No,
to
he
be
said
met.
John, he said John. John witnessed.
To John, okay.
John, yeah.
He said Peter actually. The Shroud of Turin. So if you now find the standards that we're demanding to accept as evidence,
Yeah.
one is contemporaneity, or if not, I'm not finished. I have not finished. Can I finish?
The brother of Jesus.
Let him
Listen,
finish, let him
the
finish.
brother of
William,
Jesus. Peter the disciple.
William, listen.
John the disciple.
It will help you
And
understand,
you
right?
rejected all of it.
So I have not rejected. I have dismissed them, and I'll tell you why I've
What
dismissed them.
grounds?
I'm telling you straight away. So as I have been asking so far, if you have no contemporary manuscript evidence, then we look for oral continuity.
reject
Can I
Bukhari.
finish? Thank you very much. We look for oral traditions, continuous information by memory to memory, mouth to mouth, oral. Memorization could be the chain. Do you have that? You said yes. We have a chain of transmissions of the Catholic Church. The other standard that's to be met, if you have a chain of transmission like this, are the witnesses, the narrators, persons of highest
This is where I say
character.
it's inconsistent.
Let
The
me
reason why-
finish.
No, please, brother.
Character,
No, I'm gonna butt into
integrity.
this, brother. I'm gonna
So
put-
now,
brother, I'm
do
gonna-
you
brother,
have
do you know why
the
it's not-
character
From
integrity
his worldview- no, listen.
established
Let me just make
in
this
the
point. This is
chain
why I
of
say
narration
it's
of the Catholic Church?
His worldview believes that Jesus' followers were Muslims, God-fearing people.
Do you see
So
the
now if
point?
He's dismissing
Instead
the
of
followers of Jesus,
arguing his
then-
case
no,
and
no, no.
providing evidence, he's going to go
he's throwing the
to
Quran under the bus.
deflection.
No, I'm just saying
Deflection.
he's being inconsistent.
You're being
Because
deflecting.
The Quran
Throughout.
says that Jesus' followers were Muslims, they followed Allah's will, and now I give them all the disciples, oh, maybe they're not honest.
Hang on.
That
Do you,
refutes- that
do,
refutes
you,
your Quran.
do you have a testimony of the people of each other that they were honest?
It refutes your Quran.
Hang on.
Does your Quran say that Jesus' disciples were Muslims? Yes
Which
or no?
ones were they?
Man, it doesn't say.
Hang on, which ones were they?
It doesn't mention their names.
No, which ones
But
were
even
they?
in your...
Hang on, was what the people who were the disciples of Christ, were they not ordinary fishermen?
Not all of them, no. That's wrong.
Hang on.
You're wrong.
Who were they?
Who were they?
Yeah.
Well, you just said all of them were ordinary fishermen. You're wrong.
No, so you're saying they were not?
Some of them were.
And some of them were what? Educated?
Yeah, of course.
And they followed him?
Why not? Why are you incredulous?
Wait. So you have now...
A tax collector working for...
I'm going to move about, yeah?
A tax collector working for the Roman Empire would have been proficient in Greek.
And he
you
was...
would accept that, right?
Hang on, and he was with Christ.
You would accept that, right?
Listen, was he with Christ?
Of course it was.
How long?
What do you mean, how long? Jesus' ministry spanned about 3 years.
3 years. How long was he with him?
3 years, I suspect.
So, this tax collector, who you call Matthew, is that what you call him?
Yeah.
Right. What's his second name?
Well, his other name was Levi. But see, this is where you're wrong. No. Let me just explain one thing.
Am I asking you something unreasonable?
No. It is unreasonable. Because
What's his second name?
Because in the first century,
He doesn't have a second
Israel
name.
did not have second names.
What do they have?
They didn't. They had other names.
Like?
So,
Like
even
what?
If you read,
Like
so for
what?
example,
Like what?
Peter was called Cephas. Yeah.
And what was Matthew called?
Matthew was called Levi.
So people knew him as Matthew the Levite.
So, no, what I'm saying is, so they had some people had different names, like Paul and Saul had two different names. Jesus only had one name. So even Jesus, no. So what's Jesus' second name?
I'm asking you. You tell
He
me.
didn't have one. That's what I'm saying. My point is.
So
you're asking something.
wait. So his
that's
name.
unreasonable.
So his name was only
Jesus. Yeah.
Jesus.
That's why he was called Jesus
Wait.
of Nazareth.
What? So his name was only Jesus.
They didn't have second names. Come on.
I'm
If
asking you.
Somebody as intelligent as you. If you're
Hang
asking this
on,
question,
slow down. So he was only known as Yeshua or Isa or Yeshua.
of Nazareth. Yeah.
Oh, Yeshua of Nazareth. So also they had something to identify, to connect.
Why is that? Mary Magdalene. Mary from Magdala.
Because there were many other Jesuses.
Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
So now Matthew.
So do you agree
Wait.
that asking for a second name is folly?
No.
That means you
second
don't know
name.
history. You don't know
Second
history.
name could be an identifier of,
You don't
his
know
kunya,
history.
of
You
his
don't know history.
I'm just telling you, something to identify who
You're
this
asking
person
something
is.
that wasn't there historically, so that's a stupid.
So basically, every person of that time did have a second name.
No, of course not. You might find in the Bible his surname was, but the surname is not as we know it. Surname means other name.
Right.
So sometimes.
So now we find you have the disciples who was with him, and they witnessed his crucifixion, and they wrote about him. And so far, we have no evidence from them.
I've given you John. You didn't accept it.
No. You've given me John, and you have no given me contemporary extant evidence from him. Neither did you provide any
So, let me ask you something.
character certificate that he was an honest person.
Let me ask you something. If we found a first century manuscript of John, would you believe Jesus died on the cross?
If we find a first century manuscript of
And it
John,
says exactly what it says.
listen, and it says Jesus died on the cross, that will only establish the author believed that Christ died on the cross.
So would you accept Jesus died on the cross?
Did you hear what I said?
No, I'm asking you.
Did you hear what I said?
So that means you're
Did you hear what I said?
So my point is, the reason why I ask you that, because your point to say that we have no extant manuscripts.
What was my response?
No, so
Hang on. What was my response?
You would say that he believed that.
Right. Is that unreasonable?
So my point is.
Wait.
No.
Is my stance unreasonable?
Yes.
Why?
Because when I said to you about John, you said because we don't have no contemporaneous.
I even gave you.
manuscript.
Even if you.
No, let me finish.
Even if you find a John's Gospel, look. Even if you find John,
we have no
you're not listening. Even if you find John, with all
use
his.
that as your argument, then. That's my point.
Let me establish my argument. Do you know there are many hieroglyphic writings?
Well,
which talks.
let's talk about this next week. 'Cause
No.
I've got to go. Seriously.
Okay, we're going to finish this in 1 minute then. Hieroglyphic writings talks about God of the underworld and God of the overworld. When they write about these things, because they write about it, it means it's true, right? According to your epistemology.
No, but if they were willing, no, listen. Let me finish.
Wait.
Don't give me a gotcha. Listen to the
No.
point.
So you're saying just
You
because
need to
they
know-
write it, it
No,
doesn't mean it's true.
They were willing to die for what they knew to be true or false.
And if those writers in hieroglyphics, they're willing to die for
So
their
you need
belief.
to understand. What
Can
would
I make a point?
Yeah.
To die
If-
for something that you knew was either true
If a
or false,
writer,
you need to
like in the
think about it.
hieroglyphics, writes something and they're willing to die for their belief, does it make it true?
Oh, it will make me believe that they honestly believed it to be true.
Does it make it true in reality that what they talk about the God of the underworld is true?
No, well, so say that again. What was the question? No, because what we're talking about is an historical event. They were willing.
When they write-
No, let me finish, brother. Let me finish. They're willing to die for a historical event.
No,
it's
that-
totally different.
that's
not based on a philosophy. It's totally
So
different.
when the hieroglyphics were written,
Forget about that.
When,
I'm talking
no,
about the
forget
disciples.
about it. When we understand antiquity and the text of antiquity, when people write about things in
Listen.
antiquity, if we are finding the hieroglyphics, people are writing God of the underworld and God of the overworld, Does it not establish
You're missing the point.
Let me make my point. I haven't made my point. My point is, the stance is, what we understand from this writing is the author, the scribe who wrote it, it was their belief that there was a God of the overworld, God of the underworld. It is not reflective of the truth. So if you find John or Matthew or Mark, whoever writes it, it is only reflective of their belief that there was someone X, Y, and Z who did X, Y, and Z. It doesn't mean it's true. So to provide evidence that Christ was crucified and dead, do you find someone saying, okay, I witnessed with my own eyes and I checked his pulse and he was dead, and this kind of evidence is acceptable? You have none of that.
Brother, you honestly think first century Jews didn't know what a dead man looked like, no? Come on, man. No,
Hang on. Wait a second. Are you saying today there are not many people who are in a coma and people mistake them as dead?
In a coma?
Yeah, and mistake them as dead. There are many people out there. The people mistake them as dead.
No. Where did you get that from?
I work in a hospital, my friend, right? So I'm not getting it from anywhere. I'm not putting it from thin air.
Somebody in a coma, nobody thinks they're dead. They're obviously in a coma.
If people saw that he was there, just sitting there, motionless, people might think he's dead. But only when you look at beep, 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 they will say, oh, heart is beating. Did people go and check his heart, pulse? Do you have any record anyone checked his pulse?
Well,
One moment. Please answer. Blatantly, clearly, categorically.
No,
do you, I know you're going to go.
Next week.
Maybe in a few years' time. Do you find anyone checking his pulse? Oh, is he dead? There is no such evidence. So the summary of our discussion is, we have a Christian friend, individual, who thought he believes in the Bible because Bible is true. And the basis of his true is archaeological evidence. And when you find what is the archaeological evidence, provide with some, every single evidence that he's bringing is not an evidence, can be dismissed as belief of certain people, rumors of certain people. That doesn't provide any evidence whatsoever. So now we realize that people need to up their standards of evidence when they talk about their belief. Otherwise, it's simply a matter of blind faith. Just because you find a writing here and there, it doesn't make it true. If that was the case, why don't you accept so many narrations from Prophet Muhammad's companions talking about his miracles, talking about his prophethood? Why didn't you do that? You should accept him as a prophet of God.